Welcome back to Java tutorial series. In the last video, we cover one-dimensional arrays and saw how they help us store data in a linear. But what if we need to organize data in rows and columns like a table or matrix? That's it where multidimensional array come. Today we are going to learn about multidimensional array in Java. We'll understand how they work and we'll go through some example. So first of all, what is multidimensional array? A multidimensional array is an array of arrays. So in Java, the most common type is two-dimensional array. That means 2D array, which you can visualize as table with rows and column. It is perfect for scenario like managing a grid or matrix of number. So here each element of multidimensional array is an array itself. To understand multi-dimensional array, you have to understand rows and column in a table. So you can see from left hand side to right hand side is a row and from top to bottom we have column. Here is example like 3 rows and 4 column. Here I have given the header so you can easily understand we have column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. Same time we have row 1, row 2 and row 3. So how we can declare a 2D array in Java? So we are aware like how we can declare a linear array. So here the size is 3. So in similar way you can declare the 2D array. But earlier we had one square bracket. Now we will have two square brackets. So you have to define first of all type. Then you have to use two square bracket. Then you can give the identifier name like whatever name you want equal to new data type. Data type is here int. So here we have given first time 3 index and next time 4 index. That means 3 rows and 4 column. So if you multiply 3 into 4, that means 12 data can easily stored in this number array. So you have to always remember like index position will always start from 0. That means Java uses 0 based index and indexing of arrays in Java always start with 0, not 1. That means if I am saying like row 1, column 1, what data it will hold. So you have to say like numbers of 0 index, 0 index. That means 0, 0 is row and column. Same time if someone says like first row, second column, that means number 0 and column is 1. So you can see this example and you will easily understand. So how we can initialize a 2D array in Java? So this is one simple example. Here we have row as 3 and column as 4. So you can see at 0 index of row we have 1, 2, 3, 4. At 1 index row we have 5, 6, 7, 8. And at index 2 of row we have 9, 10, 11, 12. So how we can easily fit? So this is the simple structure we have to understand, and same way we just need to fit the data. So here row 1 column 1 having data as 1, that means numbers of 0, 0 index is containing the value as 1. So if someone asks what is the index of value 12, so first of all you have to see the 12 is at row 3 column 4. That means numbers of 2 and 3 index. So how you can access the element? So in linear way, we have used array index position. So here you have to use two index, row and column index. So if you see the example here, I am having input as matrix and we have row and column. So we have 3 row and 4 column. Totally we have 12 data. So first of all, you have to iterate the row, then you have to iterate the column, and after that you have to use matrix, row and column index so you can easily get the data. So let's try to do code. So let's declare the 2D array. So you have to always use the data type. So data type will be here in. If you want you can also use the string, but for now I have not taught you the string in detail, so you will get confused. So that's why I am always referring in, and you can give the variable name as matrix, and you can assign directly. If you want you can assign a row and column size, then you can set data one by one, but it will take so much time. So it's better let's declare and assign in one line. So we are going to put data as 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8, then 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have declared this element. Now let's try to access. So first I want to access the value as 1. So how we can do? So for that just use sys out and use matrix. Currently 0 is at what? First row, first column. That means 0, 0, row 0, column 0 index. And if you run, you will get the value as 1. Similarly, I want to get the value as 10. That means 0 row, first row, second row. So use second, again 0 index, first index. So let's use as 1, and if you run, we'll get the data as 10. If you have any doubt, please refer this image and you can play with this table. You can change 2 row, 2 column, 2 row, 10 column like that. So how we can iterate the whole element? So in linear array, we have just used one for loop, but here we have to use two for loop. One for loop for row and one for loop for column. So let's use one for loop first of all. Int I equal to 0 and I will be less than matrix length. So using the length property, you can find the actual length of the array and use I plus plus. So how we can get the element now? So if I use matrix first as I, so what will be happen? Let's run. You can see we are getting as this structure. So why we are getting like this? Let's run as debug mode. So when you run, right, you can see at 0 index, we have another array. That's why at the beginning of tutorial, I told what is multidimensional array. A multidimensional array is array of arrays. So you can see this is one array and it is containing one more array inside that one. In the 3D array also will have three level of array. Currently at the 0 index, we have data 1, 2, 3, 4. That means again we have to iterate this data also. So let's try to iterate. What you have to use, just use for. Here start with int j equal to always start with 0 because I told you always index position will be 0. Then j less than matrix of I means row dot length because at the 0 index we are getting array. So we have to iterate that array. So that's why I am using here matrix of I dot length and you can use j plus plus. Now you can cut it, paste it here. Just use the j. Now you can run. So you can see we are getting 1, 2, 3 till 12 and due to this printout we are getting value as 10. So if you have a doubt, let's replace I with row, j with col. Now you can comment it and you can run. So you can see we are getting data till here. Now if you have still doubt what you can do, just try to print the row and column. So what you can do, double quotes, that means it is a string. Now I am going to print the value as row plus sign, again a string, give a space here, try to print column and this one. So if you run, you will get the data at 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. That means 0 row column 3. So whatever structure I shows, it is similar like this one. Other way what you can do one more thing. Let's copy this one and comment it. So instead of print ln, I'm going to use now print. So if you use print, what will be happen? It will print into one line itself. Now I need to arrange into matrix. So what you have to do, just use sys out. No need to add anything. So what will be happen? This will run for the column. So whenever this data will be printed, it will automatically print the next line. So if you run, you can see we are getting data as a matrix structure. So let's try to run into debug mode so you will understand much more better. So I'm putting breakpoint at line number 15. So if you run, let's copy this one, right click and just go to the watch and you can see we are getting the value as 1. That means this is the 1 value. So if you want to print row and column, then just right click, go to the watch. So you can see 0 row and column as again you can see 1. So if you press F8, so you can see now row size is 0, column size is 1. That means the data will be print now true. Similarly, if you go next, that means row is 0, column is 2. That means the value is 3. Similar way, you can print all the data and it will print all the data here like whatever I saw in the table structure. So if you want, you can modify the data also like this. You can just give the index position and you can put the new value. So here I'm updating the row index of 2 and column index of 1 value as 100. So if you run, you can see now 10 has been replaced with 100. So in Java, you can create arrays with more than 2 dimensions like 3D array. However, they are less common and it can become complex to manage. So for most use cases, 2-dimensional arrays are sufficient. So some key point you have to remember, like arrays are 0 index. So the first row is at index 0 and the column is at index 0. The length property of the array gives you the number of rows. So for the column, use array row dot length. Be cautious of index out of bound exception when accessing the element. So I'm going to give you two practical problems. First problem is like calculate the sum of all elements in 2D array. Next problem is like you have to create a 2-dimensional array and write a program to find the largest number in the array. Give it a try and let us know your solution in the comment. So that's all for multi-dimensional array in Java. In next video, we'll cover jagged array.